Hi everybody, Matt here from Matt Likes Comics. Before I get on to today's topic, I just wanted to do a couple quick shout outs to some people. Shout out to Nate from Hall Yeah Comics and Hagen from Lettuce Comics for keeping me laughing. I swear to God, I just cannot stop laughing when I watch the two of you do a live cast together. And I want to thank Cali Comics for being such a good guy. If you haven't checked out Cali Comics, he's usually on the Band of Brothers auction that they have once a month on Bleeker's channel, and you should check him out because he's got some good stuff to sell usually, and he sells them at reasonable prices. Anyway, today we're going to cover the death of Supergirl and Brainiac 5's reaction. Brainiac 5 and Supergirl both joined the Legion on the same day. They ended up being the 9th and 10th members of the organization. Yes, they joined before Superboy. Superboy is the 11th member, according to the official list. But she only knew about the Legion because of Superman telling her that he was a member when he was younger. Don't you just love the way time paradoxes work out? It's like this whole blah, 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 blah. Anyway, Supergirl's involvement with the Legion was a lot less than Superboy's. And she had, unlike Superboy, she resigned from the Legion in issue 204 of Superboy and the Legion, and would only come back for periodical appearances when they were in a lot of trouble. Like, for example, during the Great Darkness Saga 294. Okay, she came. She was buzzed in, and she came. A romance broke out between the two of them over the years. It was considered to be on again, off again, because when Supergirl was back in the 20th century, I wouldn't say she was very, she dated, excuse me, she dated a lot of different people, so I don't think they were exclusive per se because they are 1,000 years apart. But they were in love with each other because the second Supergirl would see Brainy, that was it. They were together. They were always together in their Legion appearances, with the exception of one book that I can think of because Brainiac didn't show up in that book. Just to give you an idea, in the aforementioned 294 I talked about, Brainiac actually tells her, "I think I'm over you," and she goes, "And here I am sitting here thinking how cute you are," and so they have their little moments. In fact, Supergirl comes back in issue 300 for the big celebration, and she manages to stick around for about 3 months' time in the Legion time to in order to hang with Brainy and attend Karate Kid and Princess Projector's wedding. This now hopefully sets the scene for what I'm going to cover today. This is Crisis on Infinite Earths 7 from October 1985. The unspeakable happens. I even spoke to George Perez about this, and I said, "Why'd you kill her?" And he said, "I was paid to." So, as this book pertains to the death of Supergirl, okay, after events on several Earths have led to the slowdown of the merging of the Earths, Lila Alexander Luthor Jr. from Earth 3 and Pariah meet with Lady Quark, Superman of Earth 1 and Earth 2, Uncle Sam, Captain Marvel, and the Blue Beetle, all as representatives of their own planets. And they come up with a plan in order to fight what's going on with the Anti-Monitor. At first, though, we get the story behind what's going on in the crisis. You hear about a man by the name of Krona who is trying to discover and watch at the creation of the universe, and by doing so, creates It sets off a chain reaction that accidentally creates the antimatter universe, and splits the main universe into infinite Earths. See the name? Technically, only the Earth One universe was supposed to exist, and at the same time that the antimatter universe was created, the Anti Monitor and the Monitor were born. They fought each other, leaving each other unconscious for 9 billion years. Pariah then redid the same thing, wanting to see what creation was, and that allowed the antimatter universe to enter our own. Realizing that he gets more power when he destroys things, the Anti-Monitor decides to destroy everything. Well, the five Earths continue to merge, and the following heroes are chosen for this trip that they're going to make. Supergirl is one of the chosen, along with people like Wildfire, Mon-El, both Supermen, um, Captain Marvel, like basically all the powerful guys they could think of that would have the best chance to survive. Dr. Light, the new one, the Japanese woman, not the original villain. Pariah uses his power to locate and send the team to where the Anti-Monitor is. After the Psycho Pirate fails at controlling Adam, the Anti-Monitor decides that he's going to take them all himself. And the first thing he does is attack Earth 1 Superman. And when his cries of pain ring out, Supergirl hears and comes running to him. Just as he's about to kill Clark on the ground because he had managed to knock him powerless practically, Supergirl comes crashing into her with all her power. She keeps hitting the Anti-Monitor, but it proves ineffective. But eventually, Supergirl does manage to deflect the Anti-Monitor's blast that he sent towards Superman to kill him, and starts pounding him again. The villain now screams because she is getting through. Superman calls out for her. Taking advantage of this fact, the battered Anti-Monitor pushes Supergirl away, and having been severely damaged, his energy is now draining, and he runs away. Supergirl gets to Clark and asks Dr. Light to look after him. She then rockets into the Anti-Monitor before he can completely get away, and they both end up in what they call the vibration reducing machine. This is the machine that's bringing the five Earths, the last five universes together into one. Well, this destroys the machine. They come out fighting and swinging. Supergirl manages to knock him down again, at which point he's got her at point blank range and shoots her in the torso with an energy beam. She falls. He gets away. Superman picks her up. After a couple of minutes of telling Superman how much he meant to her and how much she loves him, she passes away. We see the funeral scene at the end of the book after she dies, and we see that Brainiac 5 is there. That leads us from Crisis to the next book, which was from the next month over, November 1985. This is Legion of Superheroes, Volume 3, Number 16. And as you can tell by the cover, somebody is not having a good day after this. This book, being published the month after, was planned to come out the same month, but they decided that they would wait because the Legion book usually comes out the week before Crisis did at the time. And they didn't want to give away, because the death of Supergirl was still a secret. So they waited. In this book, Brainiac 5 realizes that it is the 1000th anniversary of the death of Supergirl. He knew this date was coming, but he laments and misses her anyway. Through the course of this book, we learn the following about Brainiac and Supergirl's relationship. He has always been in love with her. She was usually fond of him too. He learned all about her future because of the history books, but he did everything he could to ensure that she would learn nothing. And when the Legion suggested it, he helped out with the post-hypnotic commands in order to make sure she forgot anything she might learn in the future about her own future. He wanted to ensure that she remembered him. They did have a strong relationship, stronger than shown in the book. In fact, the reason he wanted to develop all the time travel machinery that he did over the years was to make sure he could go back to the past and see her. He always knew she would die, but not know how, because apparently the history books left that out. We now know it's because the anti-monitor killed her with a blast of energy, and all he knew was it involved a blast of energy. But he didn't know who was going to kill her. Now we do when he goes to her funeral in the other book. And he, of course, is very, sad about the whole thing. And I agree. He had always held hope. I think he always held, not in these two books, but he always held hope that she would come to the 30th century and stay with him forever. It was something that's been alluded to. In fact, over the years, they always make fun of Brainiac in the comic books about his fetish for female human blondes, because apparently he likes a couple of others over the course of after Supergirl's passed, and in issues later of Legion, like later runs. Brainiac 5, of course, made an appearance as a main character for a couple seasons on the Supergirl TV show. But that Brainiac was an android, where this Brainiac 5 is human. That Brainiac ended up in a relationship with Dreamer, she's called on that show. And of course, Supergirl ended up in a relationship with Mon-El at one point and then did nothing else. At least that Supergirl TV show acknowledged the presence of the Legion of Superheroes, because that is one thing that I find that most Superman stories ignore. I thought I did this topic today because I thought it was an interesting little thing, because the Brainiac Supergirl thing had been going on since the 1960s. He even said in the issue where Supergirl gets revealed to the world for the first time, Supergirl asks for his help sending her through the time barrier, and he even says, "I fell in love with her when she was in our time, so of course I'm going to help her." That was in the book then, and I believe Otto Binder wrote that one. So this has been in the plans forever, because he even asks in the issue where they join the Legion, "Why don't you stay and be my girl?" And she's like, "No, I have to go back to the 20th century. So he's loved her forever. And I always thought that was great. It was one of those little things that were touches that kept the character building going. Supergirl liked a lot of guys. She liked Dick Malvern. She liked Jarrow, the mermaid guy. She went out on a few dates in her early 20s during the adventure run. But I personally think that her true love was Brainiac 5 myself, because the fact that she instantly was drawn to him, more so than even the others I mentioned, when she visited the future, tells me about her feelings. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and comment below. Please leave comments with regards to this relationship, if you're familiar with it or not familiar with it. There are probably 12 to 13 books, I don't know exactly, that reference this over the years. There are a few of them in Action and Superman, because Brainiac 5 is one of those Legionnaires like Saturn Girl, who actually appear in a lot of stories by themselves without the rest of the Legion in the 20th century. So there is lots that you can check for this sort of thing. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. My name's Matt, and I like comics. And I hope you do too.